Again, let's do that again. Okay. So, hello and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's a joy to be with everyone this evening, and actually excited kami ng wife ko, but at the same time, we are nervous as well to be here, to be speaking for the first time together. You know? As husband and wife, yeah, and with a full message. So I hope you guys are excited as well, and truly, you know, we're just really excited and joyful. Okay. So.
Bawal ako mag-side comment. Rinig pala.
Okay. Sige. So, okay na ba? Anyway, sige, mag-mic na lang ako. So, this is our second session on. Last week, I know you guys learned a lot. What did you guys learn? What is the purpose of marriage? Again, what is the purpose of marriage?
Glorify God.
Glorify God. So this evening, we will talk about roles. No, we will talk about how do I play my part. And we are, for the first time as well, guys, we are live in FB. Okay. So, may nga kayo, kahit hindi kita. Okay, so there are, alam ko kung ilan nanonood.
Tayo din.
27.
Sana, merong? Wow, 25!
Wow.
So, 25 viewers.
28.
29 na, 30 na. So this is the first time, and again, we just want to welcome them. So let us just introduce ourselves, no? So again, we're newlyweds, and we just got married, kailan lang? November 30, 2017. So officially, we've been married for around 1 year, 2 months, and 16 days. Okay? And 2 hours. Tama ba?
Oo, kasi 4:30 yan.
For 30 minutes tayo ng boss. Memorize nyo yun, guys. Amen. Kailangan memorize nyo yung dates. Importante sa English na, no? So this is our wedding picture and our picture last Christmas. So we're newlyweds, but again, we're just really excited to share what we have learned for the past for the past years, and you know what God has impressed in our hearts. So let's talk first. Now, why are roles important in a marriage? Why do we even need to discuss roles? No. And before we discuss why, let me share a story. This Thursday, anong nangyari last Thursday? Valentine's. Okay. Sino nagkaroon ng date? May mga nag-date ba?
Office date.
Okay, I just wanna know, sino ba dito yung engaged? Are there anyone here engaged already? Newly engaged? Okay, sila. Okay. Congratulations sa Si? Si Shimon, okay? In a relationship, sino dito in a relationship?
Again, Marian.
Wala eh.
We be proud of
So dapat lang pinataas dito Sino ang single? Okay. You know guys, I'm so proud of you. You're proud of being single. Pag sa Sunday service, pag tinatanong, sino single? So most of you guys are single, correct? So I'm assuming last Thursday, wala rin kayong date. Okay, nag-Netflix na lang kayo? Okay, nagtrabaho?
Office date.
Anyway, here's the story. So, last Thursday, me and my wife, we wanted to have dinner. Simple dinner lang. And then on the way there, you know, I told my wife, love kasi yung tawag sa kanya. Love?
Yes, love.
Love, parang hindi masyado hype up yung Valentine's Day. Yun sabi ko. Valentine's. Parang I don't feel that it's Valentine's Day. You know, I don't see any posts, you know, about Valentine's. Parang I don't see so many people walking around with roses, ganyan. Parang hindi ko siya masyado feel. And then, suddenly, my wife told me, ano sabi mo? Sabi niya, hindi ka na excited mag-Valentine. And then, it made me realize that I might be communicating that to my wife. But actually, sinasabi ko lang sa kanya na parang hindi ko lang talaga napapansin, you know, hindi ko lang na-feel. But for her somehow, parang feel niya na hindi na ako excited na siya lagi ang ka-Valentine. Okay? Kaya, kinabi ko agad. Kasi sabi ko, hindi. Okay? Kaya di ako excited kasi alam ko na isa na lang ang Valentine ko forever. Kinilig naman siya. But I'm sharing this story because somehow men and women, they think differently, right? Men are very practical, very logical. Women can be, in a way, ladies, sometimes emotional, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, you agree? So there are differences in how a man thinks and how a woman thinks. For example, a man may say, I have nothing to wear. And when a man says, I have nothing to wear, the man is simply saying, I have nothing clean to wear. Okay, ganun lang. Okay? But, when a woman says,
I have nothing to wear.
I mean-
Ladies, what does that mean?
Okay.
That means she's saying I have nothing new
new to wear. Walang bagong dress, walang bagong shirt, ganon. Okay?
Or nasuot mo na kasi.
Or nasuot mo na. Now guys, if you will be asked, may problema ba? And you say, nothing, it literally means what? Nothing. Walang problema talaga. Okay? Walang problema. But ladies, when you're being asked, is there a problem? And you say,
Nothing, that means there's something. And boys, that something is not good.
okay, kung ano man yung something na yun. Ito pa. Whenever someone would ask us, alright guys, so, saan nyo gusto kumain? Or nas ng ka-date mo, ng partner mo, ng girlfriend mo, where do you want to eat? And you tell her, wherever you want to eat. It literally means, we are okay to eat wherever as long as it is food. Kasi gutom na kami. Gusto lang namin kumain na. Okay? But for the ladies, when they say, wherever you want to eat, ano ibig
She
sabihin yan?
means if you love me, you should know where I want to be. So it's a tricky statement.
Tingkas niya. Okay? So dapat ang bilis sa sagot yun.
Masabihan na ba kayo nun? Wherever you want, o yung ibig sabihin nun.
Huwag yung kahit bahala ka. So yun. So as you can see guys, men and women, we think in different ways. Again. And if men and women think differently,
Ano daw?
there's that tendency that there will be conflict. Right? Do you agree? Because iba yung perspective ng lalaki, iba yung perspective ng babae. And so this can cause conflict, this can cause tension in our relationship. Not only that, when two people, a man and a woman, they become one in marriage, there's a tendency that they think differently, they are imperfect, right? Sometimes they can be separate. So conflict is bound to happen. Okay? But we want to know our rules because we want to bring order. Okay? Because we want to bring order. We want to avoid yung mga unnecessary conflicts. We want to know what is expected of us, how we can love our wife, how we can do the design that God has entrusted upon us. Just like in an organization, okay? In your company. Now, I know some of you may be aspiring to be a CEO. But just think about it. What will happen to a company if everyone acts like the CEO? Ano mangyayari? Magkakagulo. Right? If everyone is the CEO, who will do the legwork? Who will do the report? Who will support the CEO? Who will do HR and admin? All those things. There are specific roles so that the team may function more productively. Same manner in a band, right? What will happen if everyone wants to sing? What will happen if everyone wants to play the drums? Ano mangyayari? Will it sound good, yes or no? No, right? Pwede kung magaling sila. It might sound, pwede naman, no? But iba pa rin when there's a band that plays, a guitar, piano, drums, and they are all in harmony. The sound is really good, and you want to listen to those kind of bands. In a basketball game, right? What if everyone will try to play as the point guard, as the center, kahit 5 flat lang siya, o gusto niya maging center daw, o gusto niya mag-rebound, what will happen, right? Will they win a game? They won't, most probably. There are roles, because roles help bring order, right? But I want you guys to realize as well that roles do not imply superiority, but simply responsibility. Okay? Let me repeat that. Roles do not imply superiority, but simply responsibility. Because some of you may not really like what we're going to say. Especially when we say ladies, that you need to submit to the husband. But we're not saying that the husband is above the wife. You know, when God created man and woman, God created them in His image, equal in status. You know, but somehow there are roles so that there will be order. Are we all connected?
Yes.
Okay? So roles do not imply superiority, but simply responsibility. So now, what is now the role of a husband? Okay, so I'll be sharing the role of a husband, and you will be sharing the role of a wife. So I want it to be very simple lang, you know, guys, para madaling niyang matandaan, because there have been so many messages about roles, na the guys who are to be the leader, you are to be the lover, you are to be the protector, you are to be the provider. But I just want you to remember this phrase. Lahat ng mga guys, why kinulog kayo dito for a certain reason, para magkakasama kayo, okay, para tight yung brotherhood. And I want you to read this phrase, okay? All the guys, ano ang role nyo?
The husband is a lover.
Okay, parang di ako convinced pa. Anong role nyo, guys?
The husband is a lover.
Is a lover. Okay, so remember that word. You are a lover. Okay, tandaan nyo rin, para mas madali, basta drivers with lover. Okay, basta lover kayo. Okay, the husband is a lover. And if you would see that consistently in the Bible, in Ephesians and Colossians, husband, love your wives. Okay, that's in Ephesians 5:25. In Colossians, love your wife. So consistently, the Bible is telling us to love your wives. But here's the thing, right? Let me speak to the men. Some of you may be saying, alam ko na paano magmahal, right? Sino ba ang mga nagmahal na dati? Okay? Mahiya kung nagmahal kayo. Okay? Dapat pala din na nagmahal kayo, di ba? Sabi nyo, alam ko na paano magmahal, no? Ano magagawin ko? I'll just buy flowers, right? Anywhere yan. Buy that huge teddy bear, no? Ano ba?
Bear cuddle.
Talagang tinamukha. Buy that teddy bear, ano ba? Chocolates, and all of those things. When I do that, she will feel love. That's our common concept of love, correct? Right? But I want you to realize, when you get married, there are other ways to show love to your wife. Not only that. Yes, chocolates are good, flowers are good, but sometimes they appreciate the little things more. The things that are not common. That's why I want you to realize, to love is not easy. Because somehow that is not in our nature as well, to be loving. Because we're not at times connected, or we're not at times very connected to our emotions. Okay, sometimes, parang ngayon lang, di ba, ganyan tayo. Okay, pero nag-iisip naman tayo, right? But sometimes, di talaga tayo nagkukunik sa mo, kamusta ka? Okay lang. Okay. Masaya ka? Masaya naman. Pero masaya tayo. Masaya tayo. Or ako lang ba yan? No? Masaya naman ako. Sometimes we're that way. But ladies, oh, how are you? Ay, this is what happened to my day. No? Men and women are very different. That's why I want you guys to learn how to love your wife in the future. That's why I've used this word, love. Okay, can everyone say love?
Love.
Okay. Now, how to love your wife? Number one, guys, men, I'll speak to you first. You are to be the leader of the family. Okay? Guys, can you say leader?
Leader.
Okay, you are the leader of the family. What does that mean? Now, if you will look at Ephesians 5:23, it says, therefore, the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ also is the head of the church, he himself being the Savior of the body. So, the picture here is, you are under the authority of Christ. And then the wife is under your authority, your umbrella. Okay, you are the head of the family. But here's the thing. Some of you ladies may not, feel comfortable with this, that the men are supposed to be leaders, because somehow I know maybe you've experienced leaders that are demanding, right? Leaders that would lead through force, leaders that would lead through fear. And so you're scared that if my husband will be the leader, that is how he will lead me. But I want you to, again, read the phrase. It says there, husbands is the head of the wife as, ano nakalagay? Christ also is the head of the church. So men, you are to lead your wife as how Christ has led the church. It's not a type of leadership that uses force. It's not a type of leadership that uses fear. It is a type of leadership that really loves your wife, that serves your wife. So it is a type of leadership that you are the first to serve, that you are to model proper godly values. And when we say leader, hindi yung leader na, okay, ikaw yung mag-dictate saan kakain, okay, ikaw yung mag-dictate paano gamitin yung pera. Not only that type of leadership. Remember this, when we talk about leadership, it is you are responsible to spiritually lead your family. Okay? You are to be the role model in the family. Because when we talk about leadership, leadership simply means this. Leadership simply means influence. Okay? Can you say influence?
Influence.
That means that you can have the greatest influence sa asawa mo, sa mga anak mo. You know, I want to speak from the heart because I've been in the singles ministry. Tayo ko ng tayo, ano? Sorry. I've been in the singles ministry for the past... palalaman niyo. Past 7 years. Okay, past 7 years. And I've counseled a lot of singles, counseled a lot of men and women. And you know, when I always think, ano kaya yung root cause ng issue nila? Now listen to me. No? I need your full attention. There's a common denominator. Most of them have daddy issues. Most of them have family issues. And just this morning, there was a lady who gave her story, and she gave her testimony, sharing to everyone that she got involved in drugs, in alcohol, because she hated her father. Because she was so angry with her father. So guys, I want you to really just allow this to sink in. That you have a big responsibility. You might not be in a relationship right now, you might all be single, but there will be a time, unless ayaw nyo ikasal. Meron ba dito ayaw ikasal? Okay. Thank you, Mix, for your honesty. So, please, nagulat ako doon. Buti lang, hindi kita sa FBI.
But things were still attending.
Yeah. But most of you, I don't know when, how many years from now, but most of you will get married, you will have a family, you will have kids, and you will have to really step up your game. To really be that spiritual leader. Because they will look upon you. That's why it pains me when men are very passive. Because we should not be passive. We should be the ones who would dictate the spiritual pace of our family. Because we have the greatest responsibility to influence them in a godly way. Just some statistics. Now let me share some statistics. Children who are raised in a two-parent family but with a fair to poor relationship with the father are 68%. Take note. 68% more likely to use drugs, alcohol, or be violent. But, on the other side of the spectrum, children who are raised in a two-parent family who have a good to excellent relationship with their dads are less than what? Less than
6%.
Imagine nyo, ang layo. 68% to less than 6% to use drugs or alcohol or be violent. You have that responsibility to be the leader of the family. Kaya I always try to really lead my wife in the right way. Lead the family spiritually. Right now, ang schedule lang namin, kailan tayo nagkakaroon ng prayer time? Wednesday and Saturday. To really be the one to initiate, let's have this prayer time. Hindi kami nagpi-prayer time ng Wednesday and Saturday lang because that is the only time. That is the only time that we have. Okay, we're so sorry for that. But normally kasi we have our own quiet times, we have our own time that we spend with the Lord. But Wednesday and Friday is a time where we drop everything and we pray together, pray for our concerns, and that is the time as a couple that we lift up all of our concerns to the Lord. And there will be a time that you need to dictate when you have your own family, when you want to have your own devotions and your own prayer time. Okay? So remember, L stands for leader. Okay? Now, O, what is O? O stands for?
Overseer.
Overseer. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng overseer? Well, let me go back to what happened in Genesis now. So first, you are the leader. If you want to really love your wife, you need to lead your family. Secondly, you need to be an overseer. Now, let's go back to what happened in Genesis. Now, you would see in Genesis 2:15, it says there, Then the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate it. Now, if you would notice, sa beginning pa lang, no, when God created everything, man was already given the responsibility to do what?
Work.
To work. Right? Hindi sinabi ni Lord, eto na, I created everything, banjing-banjing ka na lang dyan, okay, matulog ka na lang dyan, gawin mo kung ano, maging parang Tom Sawyer ka na lang, napunta niyo ba yan si Tom Sawyer, na nakaya tapos merong Alam mo, may grass, something, ganyan. No. God gave him a specific responsibility. Ano nakalagay? To cultivate the garden and to keep it. So even from the beginning, part of your responsibility is to oversee the physical well-being of your family. To provide for your family. Not to be lazy. And then what happened? So God gave this man the responsibility to work. And then we all know the story, right? What happened? Eve was tempted, right, to take the fruit, to eat the fruit. And it was God who even commanded man this, right? In Genesis 2:16 to 17, the Lord God commanded the man, saying, "From any tree in the garden you may eat freely, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in that day of eat of it, you will surely die." So God gave man the responsibility to work. God gave the man the responsibility to protect his family, to protect his wife, to be the one to actually cascade his commands to the wife. But again, we know the story. Now in Genesis 3:7, 3:6, this is what happened. When the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and the tree was desirable to make one wise, ano ginawa niya? She took from its fruit and ate. So, sino may kasalanan? Sure kayo si Adam? Okay. Sige. Let's part that question. But it says there lang that we did, she took from its fruit and ate, and then, what's the next statement? She gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. So the assumption is, Adam was with Eve, no? Katabi niya si Eve. But somehow, he allowed all of these things to happen. And so they ate the fruit, they sinned against God, and now God needed to confront them. And here is the interesting thing. Men, I want you to read this verse, okay? In Genesis 3:9. Sige, go.
Then the Lord God called to the man and said to him, Where are you?
Where are you? Okay, so ano nangyari? Tinawag ni Lord, sino tinawag ni Lord? Adam. Now, isn't that very interesting? Again, who ate the fruit? Eve. And then she gave to her husband. But when it's now time to correct and to confront the issue, God had to call man. Adam, nasaan ka? Because I want you guys to realize, you are responsible to protect the spiritual well-being of your wife. Wouldn't it be just right that God would confront Eve? Eve, why did you eat the fruit? But rather than doing that, the Lord confronted first Adam. Where are you, man? Why did you allow this to happen? Why did you not prevent your wife from eating the fruit? Because you are the overseer of your family. To oversee their physical well-being and to oversee their spiritual well-being. I hope, guys, we are connecting. Okay? Okay naman so far that you get your responsibility, your role, that you are the leader of the family. What's next? You are the overseer. Third. Now, this last two is more of practical ways how to show love to your wife, no? So, you are the leader, you are the overseer, and ano yung be love?
You are to be vulnerable.
Be vulnerable. Bakit kaya nilagay yan, no? Now, I won't use any verse. But here's the common notion or common mindset that we have, guys. No? All the men, I think we want to be like this. Tama ba? Sino nakanood ng 300? Meron ba nakanood ng 300, di ba? Anong na-feel nyo? After watching 300, anong na-feel nyo? Parang gusto nyo magkaroon ng six-pack abs, you wanna go to the gym and work out. Because, man, I want you to realize, this is the common image that the world is trying to tell us. If you want to be a man, a manly man, you need to have abs, you need to have workout, you need to be strong, you need to be powerful in all of those things. That's why, when we encounter problems, sometimes we don't share it. Because we don't want to be seen as someone that is weak. Right? We don't want to be seen as someone that is vulnerable. Right? And that's why sometimes maybe I think, kaya siguro yun yung reason bakit mas maagang namamatay ang mga lalaki. Just me thinking about it, because we're not connected with our emotions. We try to hide our problems, we try to carry our burdens on our own, and we're so stressed out, because we're not sharing it to others. But if you really want to show love to your wife, let me tell you, the best way to show to your show love to your wife is to be vulnerable. To really be open to her and tell her about your problems, what you are going through. Not to keep it on your own. You know, the moments that I really feel connected with my wife are those moments that I share intimately with her. Ano yung mga problema ko?
Let's hold on.
She wants to be connected. And yun yung mga moments na parang for me priceless. I guess there was this time, Tuesday lang, no? That I was sharing to her my problems, just opening up my concerns. And after a while, siya na yung umiiyak, okay, hindi ako. But during those moments, I really appreciated her listening heart. And I know that she felt love during that time. That I was just being so transparent, so vulnerable to her. Not, having this facade that I know everything, that I'm strong, because there are really moments that I have problems, I am weak as well. And they want those moments. Tama ba, ladies?
Yes.
That you want your man to be authentic. Right? To just be transparent and, just tell you anong mga problema. And then, how can you help, how can you support him and assist him. Okay? So guys, learn to be vulnerable. It's okay lang yan. Okay? Okay lang umiyak. Sabi mo nga sa katabi mo, okay lang umiyak.
Okay lang
Umiyak.
Basta may panyo.
There's nothing wrong with that. Right?
Yeah, and I just want to share, to encourage the men then, I'm here to speak to the women, but to encourage the men, you know what, when you become vulnerable in front of your wife or in front of your partner, how we see you, it doesn't make you less of a man. When you are open, when you're vulnerable, when you show your soft side to your wife. Why? Because we see how imperfect you are, how frustrated you can be, how much of a sinner you are, and how you just really want to seek the Lord in times of your trying times. How you just really want to depend to the Lord. Kung ano man yung pinagdadaanan mo, kung ano man yung hindi mo na kayang gawin sa sarili mo, you just seek God. You ask God for strength, for wisdom, for power. And it shows how much of a man of God you are. And that really inspires and that really encourages me to really pray for my husband more, to really walk in this journey with him more, holding hands again. Hand in hand. Kasi, parang, what is that? Okay. Kasi, di ba, parang when you see, especially the leaders, those who are leading right now, when you see them, di ba, parang, I admire him because he's such a man of prayer. He serves, he loves people. But oftentimes, we don't see how much fragile they can be. And whenever you would show that to your wife, trust me, they would admire you more, they would pray for you more, and your relationship together will really just be strengthened. And at the end of the day, your relationship with God will also be strengthened, which I think is the most important thing. Where's my husband?
Okay. So, I like what my wife said, no? Kasi nga tayo guys, siguro we've been in a barkada, when we shared our stories, our problems, sabihin nila, ang hina mo naman, ang weak mo naman. But remember, when you share your problems, when you are vulnerable in front of someone that loves you, your wife, they will appreciate you. They will not say deep in their minds, ang hina naman ang asawa ko. But all the more, they would begin to love you and really encourage you, affirm you, and even want to support you. Okay, so learn to be vulnerable. It's okay. That's why, we encourage those who are in a small group to learn how to be open to your problems as well. Right, guys? Because we're not comfortable with that. But we want to help one another. We need one another. You can survive your Christian walk alone. Okay? So L, you are the what? L, guys, you are the leader. O, you are the overseer. B, you are to be vulnerable. And lastly, E, you are to be engaged. What do I mean engaged? Now, this is something that I just recently learned. No? And gusto ko tumayo. I've learned, now correct me if I'm wrong, this is how guys and girls are again very, very different. We guys, we want to be very independent. Right? We want to do things on our own. Okay? We want to feel that I have achieved something, that I am strong, that I can do this on my own. Now, ladies, you are more on this side. You are more on the engaged side. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? This is what I've learned. I'm a very independent guy. I want to do things on my own. And I recently learned that my wife wants to help me with the things that I am doing. Okay? So for example, magsasampay kami ng clothes. No? I can do that. You know, I can hang all the clothes kahit kano karami pa yan, 10 kilos, 20 kilos. I will do all of these things. To be honest, medyo na-enjoy ko nga yung pagsampay. Kasi nakapambahay lang ako, nagsasampay pa ako. But my wife wants to be engaged with me. Okay? She wants to be connected. She wants to be close with me. Kaya kahit na alam kong kaya ko yan gawin, okay? Sometimes she would be there. Okay? She would hang clothes with me. Okay? Because she wants to be with me. Another example, pag uwi ko, when I get home, I just want to relax and I just want to unload my stuff, you know, dress, magpambahay ako and all of those things. Pero minsan nangyari, pagdating ko sa bahay, yung asawa ko nandiyan na sa harap ko. Okay? And then kung saan ako pumunta, punta ako sa closet ko, nandiyan sa likod ko. Okay? Okay? I-unload ko yung bag ko, nandiyan pa yung sa likod ko. Because she wants to be engaged in a connection with me. And when that happens, guys, don't feel bad. Don't feel that your wife is trying to control you. I know you want to be independent, but that is her way how to show love sa'yo. Now, even on the small things, she wants the both of you to do it together. Whether it's working out, whether it's cooking, whether magsampay ng clothes, you know, she just wants to be one with you. Because if you would really look at Genesis 2:24, it says there, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. That you are no longer one as a single individual, but you are one even though you are two. Okay, and I hope that makes sense. It's just like a piece of paper. You know, when you glue two pieces of paper, what happens? They become one. But if you try to separate them, ano mangyayari? Okay, will it still be the same?
No.
It won't, right? And that's the analogy there. When you get married, you are just like that piece of paper that is glued together. That is what it means that you cleave and live with your wife. That's why she would want to do things with you. It might mean yun nga, magsampay ng clothes, and she will appreciate, you know, when she would cook, when she would do these small things, nasasamahan mo siya, tutulungan mo siya, because for them, when you do that, that would speak volumes of love. You know, that you really want to spend time with them. That you really want to be close sa kanila. You know, kahit ganito nga lang na nag-speak kami together, I know that my wife really appreciates this. Rather than being there sitting there, you know, na magkatabi lang kami. Kasi sa kanila, importante yun. So, huwag kayong matakot. Kung magkaroon kayo ng asawa na sinusundan kayo sa likod.
Wala ko kasabihin. Tapos sila pag nakita nila ako sa elevator.
Because that is her way to really show love. And that is, maybe some girls are like that, you know? That you want to just be connected. Kahit na wala kayong sinasabi, di ba? Kahit wala kayong pinag-uusapan. Basta magkatabi lang kayo. Right? As long as you're close and just together, you know, it's already okay. Tama ba mga ladies?
Yes.
You're already,
Yes, ako.
you're already in love. Okay? So guys, look for small ways how to be engaged in a intimate relationship with your wife. How to spend time with your wife. Okay? Even with that small things, try to think, ano ba yung mga small things that I can do that will speak volumes of love sa asawa ko to make her feel that I am not that independent, that I want her to be part of my life. Because ultimately, when you get married, it's no longer your life. It is your marriage, and the both of you will have one life na lang. Okay? So remember, guys, ano yung role nyo as a husband? Aning L? You are to be the leader of the family. O, you are to be the overseer. B, you are vulnerable. And E, you are to be engaged. Okay? So I hope you guys learned something. Now let me turn it over to my wife.
Yay!
So, what is the role of a wife?
Okay, the exciting part. Okay. Hello, guys, again. Dito ako haharap pa. Okay lang, pero makinig pa rin kayo sa akin if okay lang naman sa inyo. Okay, so what is the role of a wife? I think majority here, you already know, ladies, no, the roles of a wife. Kasi I think we have yearly or annually naman tinuturo to, or we try to really cater to the singles about the different roles of a husband and a wife. But as a wife, what I want you ladies to remember tonight is for the husband is a leader. For the wife, I don't have the clicker. For the wife is a helper. So when you see this statement, ladies, na-excite ba kayo? Oh, sobrang excited. Oo, I'm excited. Pero ladies, to be honest, na-excite ba kayo? Because honestly, when I was single, it didn't excite me at all. Parang na-feel ko, Lord, pinag-aaral ako ng magulang ko, nagtrabaho ako. Alam mo yung nagpakahirap ako to build my credibility. Tapos, when I marry, I will just become a helper. That's really what I felt. And if you're feeling that way, hopefully this message tonight would give you a different perspective of your possible role when you become a wife someday. In Genesis 2:18, it says there, "Then the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." And you know, this verse, ladies, is jam-packed with truth. I know that you have heard maybe of this verse before, that you have read this verse so many times before, praying na, Lord, sana maging suitable helper na ako for someone. And you might think that, okay, I'm a woman and I have that role to be that suitable helper for a man or for my future husband. But you see, ladies, this verse is very important for us to grasp, to embrace, because our femininity can be found in this. You know why? You're not just a woman who is working in the corporate world, trying to excel in your career. You're not just a woman who is, you know, managing your home, being at home, doing the chores. You're not just even a woman who is discipling younger women. You are a woman created by God, the God of the universe. And when you understand this and you embrace this fully, then you would really realize how precious you are in the sight of God. That you would realize na really there's a special purpose why God has created you in this world, and a special purpose why God has created you for your future spouse someday. In Proverbs 31:10-12, it says there, ladies, can you read with me? An excellent wife diba, when you read this verse, parang, wow, I feel so precious in the sight of God. Like when you read this, for her worth is far above jewels. You will really see how important you are when God created you, when God thought of you and created you as a woman. But then, parang may disconnect, diba? Parang, okay, my worth is far above jewels. But then, I am created to be a suitable helper. I am created to be a suitable helper. And parang ma-feel parang, paano yun? Like, to be a helper, parang kawawa. May tendency, di ba? Ganun yung notion in this world that we're living right now. And we have to accept that when you're a helper, ikaw yung ganito lang, mababa yung tingin sa'yo, or whatsoever. But, I want you to understand, ladies, that our role as a helper is so precious in the eyes of God, because when you say helper in Hebrew, it actually means a help answer to Him or the one who answers. I realized that our role as a helper is full of strength. Parang it carries so much strength in it. Why? Because in a certain situation, when you're the one helping, that means you're the one who is capable. Diba? That you're the one who has that strength. Now that you're single, maybe you're leading your D group, you're leading younger women. Diba, when your disciples run to you, when your disciples reach out to you for help or for advice or wisdom, it's because they trust that you can help them. They trust and you're confident that you can be of help, that you can guide them. And most importantly, this verse is important, or this verse shows so much strength in our role as a helper, because in the Bible, who was also described as a helper? And guesses?
Holy Spirit.
Yes, pardon. Tingin mo sa akin. It was actually God. You know, there are many verses in the Bible that speaks that God is our helper, but this is one of my favorites. It says in Psalm 54:4, "Behold, God is my helper, the Lord is the sustainer of my soul." So it was God. And how amazing, diba? And so humbling to be given that function or that role that is the same as one of the attributes of God. Now, when you say that you're a helper, sana you won't think of yourself as a less of a person, as a less of a person in your marriage, because actually God created you because He knows that you are capable to complement, to support, to assist, to aid your husband, and that role is again, jam-packed with strength. It's so important, so precious, and I pray that you would embrace this fully. Now, when you say that, oh, okay, I have the desire to be a wife someday, and I understand that I am made to be a helper, a suitable helpmate to my future husband someday, that it would excite you, that it would really leave you na parang you would look forward to it more, to be married, diba? To be a wife, to be an excellent wife for your future husband. So a while ago, my husband, meron siyang acronyms. Kasi to those that don't know, my husband, he loves, bakit tingin mo? Okay. My husband, he loves acronyms pagdating sa messages namin, 3 C's siya, ganyan, tas kanina, LOVE. So, gawa rin ako rin sa akin. Wait lang. Okay. Yung sa akin is, ladies, again, the wife is a helper. So, the acronym that I want us to embrace and to remember for tonight is HELP. Diba? Ang cute. Okay, for each.
Guys, cute ba?
Parang ito talaga yung reaction nila. Okay, H stands for, ano yan, ladies? Honor. Okay, what does honoring mean? Ano? Sino yun? Yes, Mix. Thank you again for responding. Oo. When you say honor, what does honor mean? To honor someone actually means to give high respect for that person. And one of the most important things that a man needs, or at least my husband, I'm speaking based from experience, one of the most important things that a man needs is actually respect. You know, men, ladies, they would desire for respect from their workmates, from their friends, even from strangers, and most importantly, of course, from their wife, and in the future, if you have kids, from their children. That respect is so important for men in the context of this husband and wife relationship, that God created a specific verse or command for us women, or for us wife. It says in Ephesians 5:33, however, each one of you must also love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. In other versions, I think NIV, it says there, the wife must see to it that she respects her husband. So what does this mean? What does it mean to respect? You know, as women, or even as people in general, we're not wired, or it's not natural for us to give respect right away. Parang if you meet that person, of course, okay, you will be civil and all, but you know, there are sayings naman na parang respect should be earned. You won't respect someone without knowing who this person is. Ano ba yung credibility niya? Ano ba yung nagawa niya? Okay ba siyang tao? Or sometimes, you won't, it's not natural for us to give respect when they don't deserve it. And trust me, not all the time, your husband can be respectable. Di ba may mga times talaga na parang, may mga times talaga, because we're imperfect So may mga times talaga na parang, hirap talaga niya i-respect But the Lord says the wife must respect her husband. And again, in other versions, it says there, the wife must see to it. Meaning, we have to make that conscious effort to give our respect to our husband. Now, even if you feel unloved, even if you feel that he doesn't have time for you because of other things, even if you feel that he doesn't deserve your respect, you give your respect. Because, you know, I realized over the course of our marriage that I must learn to respect my husband and the position God gave him in our family, not because he deserves it or not because he doesn't deserve it, but because God wants me to be obedient to the scripture. And right now, my husband and I were reading this book called Love and Respect. And I read there, it's a beautiful book. I highly suggest that you read it or you purchase it and read it in the future. It's a beautiful book, and there's marami siyang stories of like testimonies of a husband and a wife and their story, marriage nila, etc. Understanding the love and respect cycle. And I read there's this one husband who says, and I'm gonna read it straight from the The husband says, I guess if there's one fan I want in the world, it would be my wife. Na parang, you know, and it was a long testimony, but the point is, parang, that husband who's saying na, alam mo, yes, respect is important to me, pero hindi na ako respetuhin ng ibang tao, hindi na ako suportahan ng ibang tao, as long as supportahan ako at respetuhin ako ng asawa ko. As long as he is my number one fan, my supporter, then I'm okay. And just recently, di ba, love? Yes, just recently.
Share ko lang din. I know that's very true. In my line of work, there might be times I might be saying things that people will not like, because I normally speak in ganyan. And some may not like my leadership decision. Pero alam nyo, to be honest one of the reasons then bakit parang okay lang sa akin if I won't be able to please everyone, kasi alam ko pag uwi ko, my wife will be there.
Aww. No.
Not really.
That's the story that I'm about to share.
Pero totoo yun talaga. Promise. So that's very important for me. Even if the whole world will hate me, but as long as I know my wife loves me, my wife respects me, it makes a lot of difference. Parang okay lang. Against the world, basta kasama ko, asawa ko, okay lang.
Let's hold hands. Okay, so again, ladies, again, it's very difficult. And maybe some of you, sobrang hirap na hirap to give respect to your parents, to your godly authorities, to your leaders or whatever. Because again, not all the time we feel like they deserve it. Not all the time they seem respectable. But again, this is the time that you can practice. You must see to it that you give respect. And when you get married someday, there are many ways on how you can show respect to your husband. And one of the things that I realized in terms of showing respect to my husband is really not humiliating him in public. Parang it's so easy kasi, or baka ako lang to, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm really a madaldal person. As in, extrovert po talaga ako. I'm madaldal, sometimes I give comments, ganyan-ganyan, with a pure intention naman, I believe. And then, na-realize ko, I have to be careful on how I really speak to people about my husband. I have to be careful not to humiliate him, not to parang say things na hindi naman yung negative, but parang, alam mo, yung talagang asawa ko eh. I have to be careful on those things because that in itself is not really giving respect to him. At the end of the day, you have to understand that you guys are one. And whenever you would speak of these humiliating words about your husband in front of people or in the public, it doesn't really speak of who he is. It speaks of who you are as a wife. And ito yung mas nakaka-takot because it speaks of your marriage, your union with your husband. And if you are to say that you're a Christian couple, that God is at the center of your relationship, but they hear those words from you, then it doesn't give glory to God. Parang it's not a good testimony, a good testament of a marriage with God at the center of it. So ladies, be careful. Be careful on how you really speak in public about your husband. If you are in a relationship right now, or if you are engaged and about to get married, be careful. Make sure that the words that come out of your mouth are pleasing or really loving, diba? Because it has so much impact, not just to your husband, but even to other people. And again, the purpose of marriage is really to glorify God. So that's that. And that's one of the ways that you can give honor to your husband. But another way that you can give honor to him is really to trust his decisions, really to submit to his leadership of your family. And in Ephesians 5:22 it says there's wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as you do to the Lord. Tama ba? Yeah, as you do to the Lord. So this is the role that really gets the most comments or reaction whenever they hear it. Diba? Parang it's not exciting. I don't want to submit to my husband because we have the tendency, what my husband said to me, we have the tendency na I don't want to feel under. I don't want to feel na parang someone is imposing this and that. Especially if you were raised as a woman, you were raised in a family that you have to be strong, that you have to have that strong personality, that you have to really have that strength and parang leadership role in your family, kung panganay ka or whatsoever, sometimes this role scares us, diba? But if you really understand the biblical hierarchy, ladies, you would realize that men, like what my husband said kanina, men are called to lead, right? Men are called to lead, and by leading, that means loving his wife the same way as Christ has loved the church, up to the point of giving himself up for her. So here, I want you to understand, and this is again based on the book that we're reading, that the biblical definition of hierarchy is not really for men to be superior and put down the women. It is to place himself over the woman and protect her, even to the point of willingness to die for her. And when you understand this, di ba, parang you would appreciate even more. It excites you to be to be under the protection of your husband, to be under the umbrella of your husband, especially if you know, kaya men, it's very important, especially if you know that your husband is a man of God, that your husband understands his role as a husband, to lead, to love, to protect, to provide, and it will give you that security na, wow, I want to be under his leadership because he is willing to love me the same way as Christ has loved the church. He is willing even to die for me, but not naman now, love. pero that's the point. Huh? Okay. Yon. And, you know, when I was single, when I was noticing Mark na, or when hindi pa kami, syempre kasal kasi single pa lang kami, and up until kunyari, engagement, ganyan, whenever the elder women would tell me, parang, oh, are you ready to submit, ganyan, then I would tell them, yes, I'm ready to submit. Kasi, parang, how can you not submit to a man of God, he leads his boys for his D group, diba, na parang, diba? Like, kunyari, if you're a partner right now, diba, how can you not submit to a man if you know that this man loves God, that this man longs to please God, that this man longs to glorify God in his life? But now that I'm married, sorry again, love, may mga times that I feel like I don't want to submit. There are times that I feel like, ayokong sumabit. Ganon. May mga ganong moments. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's really a matter of my heart. And I realized that the refusal, every time that I would have that moment, you know, the Holy Spirit would really just rebuke me. Because, you know, whenever I would do that, na parang hindi joyfully ako nagsasubmit or I don't show respect in terms of my submission, I realized that the refusal to submit to my husband is actually a refusal to trust God. And parang if I put that into context na, wow, whenever I won't submit to my husband, it's really my lack of trust kay God. And it really rebukes me right away that if you are to submit to your husband, because at the end of the day, again, you are to submit as to the Lord. You're really ultimately submitting to the Lord. And it made me realize that to submit is ultimately more than an act of submission. To submit is actually an act of obedience, an act of faith towards God. So ladies, it goes back to your personal relationship with the Lord. If you're not right with God, if you know for yourself that you don't have a strong foundation in your relationship with God right now, that you're not intimate with the Lord right now, don't get married yet. Because it will really have a domino effect and your marriage will suffer. Your husband will not feel respected, and at the end of the day, you will not glorify God. So as early as now, you really use this time, your single years, to really strengthen your personal relationship with the Lord. And next is, so the first one, honor, medyo matagal siya kasi nandun talaga yung mga popular or known roles, diba, like to submit, to respect, ganyan. And then, wala namang problema.
So I just want to say this. Guys, we're saying love your wives. And have you ever heard the term unconditional love? Narinig yan, guys? Yeah, right? That you are to unconditionally love your wife. Right? Anong gawin nila? Love them, you know, appreciate them, all those things. But I don't know, ladies, if you ever heard the term unconditional respect. Hindi ba narinig? Hindi pa. Because ang common notion nga na respect, tulad na sinabi ng asawa ko, respect is something to be earned. But I want you to have this change of perspective. When you get married, you need to give that unconditional respect. That you want to respect him because of his God-given positions. Kasi may mga times na tulad na sabi niya, hindi ka respectable ang asawa mo. Minsan makikita mo yan, manonood na lang ng TV, kaabot na tiyan, kumakain ng chips, diba?
Transparent yan.
Hindi ako yun, hindi ako yun. How can I respect that guy? No? Parang, walang ginagawa, mga ganun lang. But again, the focus there is, you need to give that unconditional respect. Maybe there are times, you know, you don't feel like respecting, but it is the God-given position that you need to respect. But somehow, God has placed him as an authority in your family. And to not respect your husband, tulad na sabi ng wife ko, is to not respect or love the command of. So ultimately, it is God that you are disrespecting. Okay, so just remember that. If there's unconditional love, you should learn unconditional respect.
Thank you so much for those wonderful statements. Okay, so ladies, clear naman no, yung honor. And then next is E, empower. You know, when I was single, I'm the type of person na, until now naman, I would like to believe, na perky talaga ako. Like what I said kanina, extrovert ako, maingay talaga ako, machika ako, and I really want to be intentional in really reaching out or building relationships with people. I'm the type of woman, and you may be different, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, during those times, you know, I used my single years to discover what are my God-given talents, what are my God-given skills, what are the things that I feel like I need to improve on, what are my strengths. And I assessed that, I discovered those things, and I made sure that I use my single years, I maximize my single years, really using those things, serving God, you know, pointing people to Him, and really just being more like Him in the process. And at that time, for me, okay, sige, if ganito ako, I'm perky, ganyan, might as well do it for the good. Might as well glorify God in that aspect. So, you know, I would really parang chika-chika with girls, ganyan. And then, now that I'm married, it makes so much more sense. It makes so much more sense. Bakit ako perky? Bakit ako maingay? Bakit ako, you know, wanting or being mas engaging, or I really want starting a conversation with people or with friends. Kasi, yung mapapangasawa ko pala, yung mapapangasawa ko pala, ganyan.
Let's say,
tahimik.
Reserve.
Reserve.
May two expressions lang, ganon. Okay, so it makes so much more sense right now na parang, wow, I have these traits that I never knew God gave me before, because He knows that it will be of use to complement my husband, to empower him, to assist him, to really support him when we get married. And I know right now there are many strengths na weaknesses niya, and vice versa. Kumbaga, we complement one another. It's not forced. We complement one another, and you know, as a wife, you are there to really give that support to your husband. Again, you're his number one cheerleader. I know, very cliche, pero that's true pala talaga, ladies. You're his number one cheerleader. Ikaw yung number one fan niya. You are to support him. You are to discover, now that we're married, I'm not just discovering ko ano pa yung skills ko, ano pa yung strengths ko, I'm also discovering ano kaya yung strengths ng husband ko, ano kaya yung weaknesses niya. And from there, I try to complement him. I try to help him. I try to encourage him to be more like Jesus. And he does the same for me. So right now, my encouragement to the ladies, there are some ladies also there, my encouragement is, during your single years, you use this time to really discover ano ba kaya yung mga skills ko, ano ba kaya yung mga talents na bibigay sa akin ni Lord, ano ba yung mga strengths ko that I want to use to serve God, or ano ba kaya yung mga weaknesses ko that I want to improve on. And what I don't want you to do, or what I want to discourage you in doing, is really parang adjusting your strengths, adjusting your skills because of a certain man that you like, or because of a certain man that you're praying for. Na parang, because this man, siya yung pinag-pray ko, leader siya ng ganitong ministry, then I will also serve there. Then I will also try to improve in these skills, kasi dito siya nag-serve. No, that's not the point of this. You discover it, just you and God. Because when the time comes that He brings the two of you together, you know that it's not forced. You know that there's really a purpose. Bakit ka pala talaga extrovert for me? Siya, introvert, diba? May ganun. It will make so much sense that one day, when you get married, kaya pala, and you won't feel bad that you change who you are just because of a man. And that's what we don't want to do. That we're changing our lifestyle, we're changing the ministry that we're serving at because nandito lang yung taong gusto mo or yung tingin mong potential husband mo. No. You're serving, you're maximizing your skills because you know that it was the Lord who gave it to you, and you just want to serve Him, and you just want to love Him, and you just want to glorify Him in your life. It says in 1 Corinthians 11:8-9, "For a man does not originate from woman, but woman from man. For indeed, man was not created for the woman's sake, but woman for the man's sake. So again, we are designed to empower, to strengthen, to be that life givers to our husband. So I pray that this really encourages you na parang, oh, hindi pa ako wife, how can I apply this? Again, yun, discover lang. Enjoy your remaining years as a single woman if God calls you to get married someday. And the next is L, Lady of the House. Okay, hindi siya one word, sorry. But, Lady of the House. It says in Proverbs 31:27, she looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. So what does this mean? Ladies, you are encouraged to manage your home. And I read this in the Big Alabang Facebook page. May post na parang, oh, does that mean I have to resign or lalaki lang ba talaga yung mag-earn kasi he's the provider? Which, by the way, if you haven't followed Big Alabang, please follow Big Alabang on Facebook page. Hashtag apparently smart. Okay, so ladies, you are to manage your own home. So what does this mean? Does this mean ba, F, na I have to resign when I get married? I have to resign, I have to give up my career, I have to just stay at home and really do the laundry, the dishes, ganyan. No. You know, you can, of course, when it comes to division of tasks, meron kaming division of tasks na Mark, but you as a woman, it depends on your discussion with your husband, but you as a woman, you can still work. But, this is the big but, not at the expense of your home, of your household. If you are working, but then hindi mo na naalagaan yung home nyo, yung household nyo, then you have to think if your priorities are aligned. Then you have to think, am I in the right career right now? Am I in the right job right now? Diba? Kasi I know a lot of elder women, Christian wives, who are still working, yet they can manage their home well pa din. Simply because baka yung iba may helpers or baka they're very good at time management, so you can still work. It depends on your discussion again with your husband, but the point here is, and what the Bible is saying here is that you are to manage your home because the men, the husbands, they are set for a different battlefield then. They are set to provide, o ganyan. For us, we are set or we're encouraged to manage our home. So, again, you don't have to resign right away na parang, oh, mag-resign daw ako kasi I have to manage a home. No. Again, you just have to assess. When you become a wife, nasa-sacrifice ba yung time mo at home or does it really lead to a point na parang wala ng grocery, hindi na ayos yung bahay niyo or whatsoever. And if that is the case, then you have to assess and you have to evaluate your priorities. Diba, love? Okay. Do you want to say anything about that, love?
Sinabi niya.
Okay. And one thing pala, kasi meron akong mga naririnig from other couples din kasi na parang, oh, what if hindi talaga kaya that I stay at home? That the both of us really need to work right now, at least in the first few years, kasi hindi pa kami super, hindi pa super stable, ganyan. How do I do that? How do I handle that? My encouragement for you is really, of course, if you need to work, then talk about it with your husband and you work, but you have to consider where you are to work. You know, if you live in Las Piñas, you don't look for a job in Quezon City or in Ortigas because you know that when you go home, it's already 8 or 9 and you won't have time to cook dinner. Diba? So you have to consider those things. You have to consider also the nature of work. Will it allow you to work on weekends? Will it allow you to work overtime? So you have to consider those things. And maybe if yes, then that work or that job is maybe not for you. Because again, you are encouraged to manage your home. And the last is P, partner. So this one, very self-explanatory naman siya, and Mark shared it na kanina, so I don't want to deep down on it. Go deeper. Deeper. Kasi when you say partnership, it's really parang ang paper, di ba? Na when you are joined together, you're as one. Meaning, when you are a helper, you are to partner with your husband. You are to give priority to him. Meaning, you're in this journey, in this life together. You partner with Him, you grow together, you serve God together. And one of our burdens talaga ni Mark right now is really couples who are really not serving anymore together just because they're together na, just because they're married already. Of course, they have their own reasons, but we encourage that you partner with your husband in terms of really helping build the kingdom of God. You know, at the end of the day, more than your partnership with your husband, it's your partnership with the Lord that matters the most. So it goes back to your personal relationship with the Lord. You partner with God. You make sure that your relationship with Him is aligned and is in deep foundation. And as a couple, as one, you make sure and you desire to be the greatest tandem for His kingdom building. Yun lang. And, sorry, hindi pa pala. And before I end, kasi husband ko na ulit magsasalita, siya yung magko-close. Before I end, you know, kanina, di ba may raise of hands, who here are in a relationship, who here are singles. You know, I want to speak to the ladies who are in a relationship or who are engaged. You know, your partner right now, your fiancé or your boyfriend, sad to say, they are still not your God's best. That's the reality. They are not yet your God's best. They are not the one for you. Because a lot of things can happen. You know, I know of some couples na 1 month before their wedding day, the husband called off. You know, because you're not yet sure. We're praying that your partner right now is your future husband, but that's not yet final. We don't know the plan of God for our life. So what I want to encourage you on right now, ladies, if you're in a relationship or if you're engaged, don't revolve your life to your partner. Don't revolve your life to your boyfriend or to your fiancé. Don't adjust your life to fit his life. You know, if there's one thing that you need to adjust, you know, adjust yourself to be more like Jesus as a single woman. You know, focus on Him lang talaga. Okay lang ma-in love. We want everyone to get married in this room. But, again, you have to assess yourself. Am I doing things for Him na? Am I serving because He's here na? Am I really doing this because I want to impress Him or because ganito siya? You have to really be on guard, ladies. Again, the only time that you should adjust right now as a single woman is really adjust yourself to be more like Jesus, to be more like Him in the process. So when the time comes that God calls the two of you, God willing, the two of you to get married, you know you're complete. You know that you're okay. You know that your foundation with God is strong. And to those who are single, those who are not in a relationship, those who don't have the desire to get married, you know, I want to encourage you, enjoy your single blessedness. This is not a matter to be laughed upon. Kasi diba sometimes parang tinatawanan na lang natin na, oh, magiging single ako, ganyan. But really, enjoy that rare opportunity that you can go through this life alone with God. That it's just you and Him in your single blessedness. And I want to encourage you also that your value does not depend on whether or not you have a ring on your finger. Your value does not depend whether or not you have a boyfriend, whether or not someone thinks you're beautiful or you're godly. Your value depends on the cross. What God has done, what Jesus Christ has done on the cross. And that in itself is priceless. That in itself should leave you content and not asking for more. And so I hope this encourages you ladies to be excited, to look forward to being a helper. What's a maging helper? Ang saya. Talaga maging helper. Oo. Ang saya. I pray that this gives you a different perspective on how it is to submit, how it is to give help, how it is to assist your future husbands in the future, and that this encourages you to prepare during your single years and really to just enjoy your time with God. Iba pa rin kapag, di ba, love, yung partnership mo, it's just you and God. It's a blessing to partner with Him, with God, but iba pa rin kapag yung kayong dalawa lang ni Lord.
Whew! Galing ng asawa ko, no? So, titignan mo lang siya, and, you know, I'm just really blessed to have a partner like her. Again, so ladies, remember you are to honor. Okay, what's E? Actually, E is empower, not enrich. L is you are the lady of the house, and P, you are to be that partner. Okay? You are to partner with your husband in serving the Lord and to prioritize Him. Now, as we end lang, we just want to ask this question. Do you know there is another person that has a role in your marriage? Sino kaya yun? God, right? And it says here in 1 Corinthians 11:3, but I want you to understand that Christ is the head of every man, and the man is the head of the woman, and God is the head of Christ. God is someone that you need to ensure is in the center of your relationship. Okay? Because He should be there on top, and then the husband and wife, as they draw nearer to God, you know, what happens? They draw nearer to each other as well. And they should go at the same pace. Because if yung husband lang or yung wife lang, ano mangyari? It's still the same. Right? Malayo pa rin yung gap. That's why if they want to grow closer together, they need to draw closer to Christ together as well. Now, there are moments that my wife and I do not agree, but those moments are times that we are really convicted by God to fix the conflict, you know, to learn to love one another unconditionally. And if God was not in the picture of our marriage, you know, siguro maraming times na kami na lagi nag-aaway or hindi kami nakaka-serve dito sa church because, you know, our heart is not right. It is really only God that somehow kept us, you know, in this way. Na even in front of you guys, sinasabi niya, patingan tayo. Okay? That we show that love towards each other because it is God who has given us that love to give love to one another. Again, you cannot do this alone. Sometimes there would be times, ang hirap mahalin ng asawa mo. You guys remember that. There would be times, ladies, ang hirap i-respect ng asawa mo. But if you know God, if you know the love that God has given you, if you know what God wants you to do, that you want Him to submit to your husband, you know, you would want to honor Him. So remember, God plays a huge part. Because ultimately nga, as you guys have learned last week, marriage is a covenant established by God to reflect His glory and love for us. Okay? Can we all say that? You know, let's all say that together. Marriage is a covenant established by God to reflect His glory and love for us. Marriage is not about us. Again, if you're having this mindset, I want to get married to preserve, you know, para merong magluto sa akin, para merong ganyan-ganyan, and all of those things, you are setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment. Because there will be times that you will have to exercise unconditional love, unconditional respect, to be selfless. And these are these moments that God is helping you to be more Christ-like. And if you learn that, and somehow everyone will see that you just love your wife, no matter if sometimes she's hard to love, and it goes the same. If your husband is hard to love, then they would say, maybe because it's only because of Christ. That I can see Christ in their relationship, and in the end, Christ is glorified. Okay? So I hope you guys learned something this evening. Now let me just check. Hopefully guys you remember the name love. L is leader. O is
overseer.
V is
vulnerable.
E is
engaged.
Okay, ladies, help. H is
Honor, empower,
L
partner.
partner. P. Okay. So it's been a joy to share what we have learned and what God has placed in our hearts. So can we just close in a simple word of prayer? Can I ask everyone to stand as we just officially close this session? Let's all bow down our heads and let's pray. Father, Lord, thank you for this time that you have given us to just discern, Lord, the roles that you have entrusted upon us. Lord, I pray for the men. Lord, I know that you have placed them in a really big responsibility. I pray, Lord, that you would really move them to have that desire to be the spiritual leaders of their family. That they would have that desire as well to provide, to protect their wife, to be the overseer, to be open to their problems, and to just really show love even in the small things sa kanilang asawa in the future. Lord, I pray that they would always protect their relationship with you because they will dictate the spiritual pace of their family. And I pray, Lord, for all the ladies, I pray, Lord, that you would help them to have that heart to submit and to respect their future husband, no matter there are times that it's hard to do that. That they would just always focus on you. Focus, Lord, on your love and on the beautiful design that you have entrusted to us. May you empower them to be ladies that will honor, that will empower their husband, and that they will take steps after this session, Lord, to know what are the things that they can practice, that they could do to be a good manager of their household. And that they would also have the desire to partner with their husband in serving you someday. So Lord, I just entrust all the singles to you, Lord. You know their heart, you know what they are going through. Lord, I just really pray that as they maybe in the future have a relationship, that they would always put you in the center of their relationship and in their marriage in the future. Lord, we love you. May you find us faithful, and may we give glory to your name in our relationships. And all these things we pray and we ask in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So thank you everyone, and God bless you.